5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Crouch, touch, set.
Hey everybody, this is Alex Goff with RugbyMag.com with the latest installment of This Week in Rugby, and we're right in the middle now of the summer international season. We'll be talking about the Eagles, we'll be talking about the Pacific Nations Cup. We're also looking ahead to the Sevens World Cup later this month in Moscow, and touch a little bit on the U20s, probably more on the U20s next time. But first, let's talk about the Eagles. USA versus Ireland in front of 20,000 fans on June 8 at BBVA Compass Stadium in Houston. It was a huge event and didn't quite go the United States way, but still a very, very close contest. And let's have a look at the highlights.
Madigan, 83% kicking rate in the Rabo Pro Direct. He slots the first one. You know, Ireland's so great at that. So much experience just to win these little questionable balls.
Cave brought down over halfway. And the U.S. comes out with the right side. Hume puts it off his foot. Gonna chase. Luke Hume, can he get a bounce? Yes, he does! Luke Hume brought down. The U.S. still on the attack.
We notice a theme that every time Travis Pastrana blows his whistle, that somebody has something to say about it. All credit to these referees. They come out, they know they're going to get subject to some verbal bashing.
Wiles kicks it through, and it's enough. The ball is on, and the U.S. doing a good job early on of making that go back the other way.
Good look at.
Now a man open, and there he goes. Fergus McFadden. McFadden spins it outside and can't find the handle on it. Wiles, of course, very successful with the Saracens at 10 points against Italy in the 2011 Rugby World Cup, and looking for 3 right here. Slaughter. I think they got clearance now, so kicking it out will be Marshall.
And the game
that is it. Ireland, a 15-12 winner over the United States.
Well, 15-12, very close. Not quite the first ever win over a Tier 1 nation for the Eagles. No tries in this game, and you really have to look at the defense as a big hallmark of the match. The Eagles gave up only 5 penalty goals. You really can only blame the defense on 2 of them, and the rest of it were infractions in the middle of the field, things that just sort of happened during the game. They've never held a top-tier nation to no tries. They did that. Great defensive effort, just not quite enough clicking offensively for them to get the job done. Next up for the USA is Tonga. They'll be playing the Tongans on June 14, and this is a Pacific Nations Cup game. It's the second one for the Eagles after losing so close to Canada up in Edmonton. And Tonga just played Canada. Canada's now 3-0 after defeating Tonga. We'll have a look at the highlights here, and you know that the Tongans, they really bring the physicality, but the other thing about them is that they're really good at killing the ball in the breakdown, and that's been a problem for the USA in dealing with Canada and dealing with Ireland, is trying to get that quick ball out of the breakdown. They have exactly the same referee that they had in those first 2 matches, Francisco Pastrana from Argentina. He seems to like the ball killing that may play into Tonga's hands.
That's Hirayama, he's a 7 specialist, he steps and he's got lots of speed. He's got Evans with him, he goes to Evans, and Evans has some pace he's got to take on Piocala, and he does, and he's over for a try from inside their own 22. It's in the hands of Pritchard, and he hands it out to Duke. Duke's got lots of pace, breaks 1, breaks 2, and he's got Pritchard on the far side, and he's in for the try. Canada can't be doing, and all the way is Iongi, Viliami, Iongi. Oh, Hallow for the line, and he's over for another try. And that's now 33-27.
So that game, a little bit of a lesson for the USA, because Tonga almost came back at the end, scored 3 late tries to make a game of it. Looking at the Pacific Nations Cup though, Canada now 3-0. They're really in the driver's seat. The USA can catch them. They do need a little bit of help, and they certainly need bonus points. They need a bonus point win at Home Depot Center on June 14th. Now we're looking ahead to the Sevens World Cup. That's coming up June 28th to 30th in Moscow. And the USA national teams selected their squads, both the men and the women. We'll have a look at these, and you see that there are a couple of little surprises here. Luke Hume and Blaine Scully are not in the USA men's team. Scully is hurt. Hume has been playing with the 15s team. He actually got a bit of a knock against Ireland, so he might have been doubtful anyway. In place, Maka Anufe, happy to see him come back, the young, fast, tall athlete from Utah. He's in there in place of Hume. And then Mike Palafau, very experienced, another Utah guy, and he will be in place of Scully. He'll bring so much versatility because he's able to play in the backs and also in the forwards. On the women's side, a couple of surprises in the sense that Bui Baravilala, we didn't know if she was going to be healthy to play. The young fly half center, she's very fast, very skilled. Great to see her back in the squad. And then a bit of a surprise with young Katie Johnson. We didn't know if she was really on the radar for the Sevens team. She's on the World Cup squad as well. A lot of experience. You see Christy Ringenberg, Natalie Marchino. You expect them to be there, but Johnson, that's a bit of a curveball. So looking ahead to that World Cup, it's going to be a real tough ask for the USA men's team, a tough pool. They're going to have to play as well, possibly better, as they did in the end of the IRB season. For the women, well, they haven't quite clicked it all together. They've had some good moments, did well in Houston. We need to see more physicality from them if they're going to repeat their top 4 performance from 2009. Meanwhile, for the men's team, they've actually taken a break from their training in Chula Vista and gone up to Seattle to train with the Serevi program up in Seattle. We caught up with the team up at Magnuson Park and talked a little bit with Brett Thompson about his experiences at the CRC and also the USA Sevens team, and had a look at the youth festival that they held at the same time.
Here with Brett Thompson on the U.S. National Sevens team, but also just out of the CRC. Yeah. So Brett, let's talk about the CRC a little bit. A little bit of disappointment how it ended, but at the same time, you know, seemed like you played well. You had a good time.
Yeah. You know, going into the CRCs, I didn't really know what to expect because of my commitments to the USA team. I really wasn't able to practice the team much. But I was really happy how the team came together in such a short span of time. You know, the first game, we were sloppy and all over the place. And by our last game against California, we actually had a bit of structure, and you know, things didn't go our way, but it's still a good tournament overall.
How's the tournament developed over the years? Because you've been there a few times.
Yeah, I actually been there all 4 years. It's definitely gone a lot more popular, and the skill level of teams is much higher than it's been. You know, it's just a really well-ran tournament. You know, I'd say it's the closest thing to the circuit that I've experienced. So it's cool.
We're here at Magnuson Park in Seattle, where we've got a youth day here run by Rugby,
awesome.
Rugby and everything. What's that been like to hang out with the kids?
Well, you know, I think it's very good for USA Rugby to have things like this going on, because like even myself growing up in Arizona, we never had anything like this when I was growing up, and just to get the kids exposed to rugby, so now they know about it. Maybe they talk about it with their friends, and people are like, "Oh, what's rugby?" You know, it's just things like this that's going to really push rugby in the United States.
Well, you guys are up in Seattle for sort of a break from Chula Vista and getting ready for the World Cup. So what are you guys feeling? Do you feel you feel that nervousness coming on now, getting ready for Russia? What's it like?
I mean, you can't really tell anyone on the team's like really nervous. I would say most of the guys are just really excited to, you know, be away from the OTC and just train with Serevi and have a good time out here and keep like our minds focused on World Cup at the same time, not to get too, you know, worked up about it. You know, just let it come.
And one more thing, you're still kind of one of the new guys, one of the young guys. So what do you have to put up with as one of those guys lower into the totem pole?
When we travel, always got to carry, you know, one of the travel bags or something. And always like, you know, it's not too bad. We had to do a couple rookie shows when I was told you only have to do it your first circuit. So nothing too bad. Most of the guys are pretty nice about it.
And before we go, if we can rotate around, if you follow me here, you can see that we've got all these kids coming in. We've got the national team players, kids playing, kids learning skills, kids meeting national team players. It's going to be great, and it's great to be here. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Brett. Awesome. Thank you.
Well, it's all about taking a little bit of a break the monotony in the training to get up to Seattle, shake off the cobwebs a little bit by being in a kind of a Groundhog Day situation down at Chula Vista. Also shaking things up, just as they named the squad, USA Sevens men's coach Alex Magleby announced that he will be stepping down after the World Cup. Why did he do that? Well, he's going to be spending more time concentrating on his family. And despite rumors, despite talks about any other reasons, that is the reason why he's doing it. It is a very difficult job to be the national team sevens coach. You've got a lot of administrative work, an awful lot of planning, and he's just going to take the time now to step down. The question is, who's going to take his place? And really, the list is very, very short. We don't have a lot of domestic coaches who are ready to just step into an international role. We have a lot of coaches who perhaps with a little bit of mentoring, maybe 2, 3, 4 years down the road, they'd be able to do it. But right now, that list is pretty small. James Walker probably on top of that list, along with some potentials such as the All-American coach, Tony Pacheco. But it's very possible that USA Rugby CEO Nigel Melville will look outside the United States for a coach. We're just going to have to wait and see. So that'll do it for this week in rugby. For Zachary Halpern behind the camera, I'm Alex Goff, editor-in-chief of RugbyMag.com, and thanks for watching.
1, 2, 3, can't wait!